All righty. Let some people roll in this morning. How we doing? How we doing? Got some feedback. I made the overview page a little bit bigger, just a little bit easier to view on the stream. Let me know if the sound quality looks good. Everything looks good. We'll jump into it here. Give everybody about 30 seconds or so to kind of come in. As always on these live streams, if you guys have plays that you're interested in and kind of want to see what our tools look like with that play, let me know. Fire them at me in the chat. Dinger! What's up, man? If you're not following Dinger Bets, go drop him a follow. He drops a play of the day every single day. Give it a look. Huncho reposted the stream. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate. Hope you guys are doing well. I see you just dropped what? You just dropped Brandon Fott on the TL, right? Under hits. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. You know what? I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. That's not a play that everybody's going to be on today. I absolutely love that. All right. Let's kind of dive into it here. First game up, Astros taking on the Marlins. So when I was kind of going through this earlier today, dude, Jason Alexander is getting absolutely torched by left-hand hitters. It's only at minus 105, minus 110. Yeah, and I mean, look, for the most part this season, he's been rough, right? But I think there's some value in taking it today. And we can look at it. We can look at it live if we need to, if some people have some questions about it. But the first thing I did when I came through this is I see Jason Alexander, 327 average and 309 ISO. The lefties, that's pretty insane. So like right away, your Kyle Stowers, Liam Hicks, those guys are jumping off the page to me just to start. I haven't labbed the slate too hard. I kind of wanted to do most of it on the live stream organically as possible. But I just on the surface, I think those guys are going to look good today. If anybody in the chat has prize picks open and could give me some, if they have fantasy score lines out, somebody could give me a Kyle Stowers fantasy score line today, what it would be. If not, we can also pull it up. I can pull it up on my cellular device here. Taking a look at his last 10. Just been a steady Eddie, man. Gets on base. Any correlation to home? How about at Houston? I mean, this is a couple years ago. Not great data to look at, but a hit in 4 out of 5 games in his career against Houston, or whatever it is. Really and truthfully, I want to take a look at the batter versus pitcher data here and kind of see what we're working with. Obviously hasn't faced him. Kind of want to see why is he struggling so bad to lefties. Michael, what's up, brother? Michael, you're in my Discord, aren't you? You're in my personal Discord, aren't you? Okay. So let's kind of take a look here and see where are our issues coming from. The changeup, goodness. So when you feature that pitch almost 40% of the time, and you're giving up a 455 ISO, that's definitely something to worry about. Launch angle's pretty worrisome. Exit velo and distance, fly ball and line drive. So these guys are putting this ball in play on this changeup. Sinker ball is getting hit. Sweeper is getting hit. So really just don't have a lot of pitches to get these lefties out, right? Let's see how Stowers is doing to the changeup. 288 ISO. Pretty interesting there. The strikeout rate is somewhat concerning here. But since the four-seam fastball is only featured 11% of the time, we can mainly focus on changeup sinker here. What is your username in my Discord? Is it Pickens? Let's focus on the changeup and the sinker, right? Changeup, sinker. Yep. Sinker ball, absolutely crushing the sinker. Batting 400 with a 320 ISO, 30, almost a 40% hard hit rate. Oh, Pickens. Okay, that's what I thought, man. That's what I thought. Uh, line drive rate, really good, above league average. So I think Kyle Stowers is going to be a good look today, just on the surface. And another thing to note here is Jason Alexander. When he kind of first came on this year, he wasn't going super deep into ball games. But here in his last 3 or 4 starts, we've seen at least, you know, 9 to 18 outs, right? Both of those coming against the Athletics, interestingly enough. But I think Stowers is going to get to see him 2 to 3 times here. Um, I really like that look. I really like that look, Kyle Stowers. Let's kind of see what the lines are looking like. So minus 125 on DraftKings for 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Wouldn't mind that. I'm gonna guess that we get. Let me just check here. Just gonna check and see if he has a fantasy score line real quick. So he's at 6.5 fantasy score today. 6.5 fantasy score. I really like that look. See, the thing about Price Picks is a lot of these guys like Stowers, you're not gonna get. So yeah, you have a .5 hits, run, RBI goblin today. .5 hits. So your best bet today is going to be going. Now you do have a 1.5 total bases demon for Stowers today, so you could go there. The reason I always like to go fantasy score is, if you go bases and they get walked, you have 0. If you go hits, runs, RBIs, and they get walked, you still have 0 hit by pitch. Fantasy score, anything that happens in the at bat, they're still accruing points, whether they get walked, whether they get hit by pitch, what have you. That's 2 fantasy points right there. So if you think he's going to get 1.5 bases, right? Well, let's look at it. A double is 5 fantasy score. 2 singles would be 6 fantasy score. And if you're getting on second base, you're in scoring position. Well, does this guy have equity to score a run? I think so, with Jason Alexander on the mound today. So you just need a small bit of variance to go your way. The books already think he's going to get there. I do want to see, does he get walked at all? So he kind of had a run where he was getting walked there for a little bit. It has seen the strikeout rate uptick here in the past couple. Still had 5 total bases with 2 strikeouts though, right? So this is probably where I would start today. I think the 6.5 fantasy score is safer. If you want to take a little bit more risk and go with the 1.5 bases, I'd be perfectly fine with that as well. In terms of anything else from this game, I mean, Kyle Stowers is batting 300 against right-hand pitching this season. Just been really good. I mean, obviously, the K rate's going to be worrisome, as it always is with Kyle Stowers. 35% K rate. He's either striking out or putting that ball in the gap or over the fence, right? High risk, high reward guy. I think you could look at Liam Hicks as well, and we can kind of see if anybody else is sticking out in terms of the last 10. Seems like Xavier Edwards is doing it in other ways. Walks. Interesting. Augustin Ramirez, always a good pick. Stowers, Lopez. Otto Lopez seemingly cooled off a bit. I mean, Liam Hicks really cooled off. The Marlins have a lot of these young guys as well that I don't know a ton about. Graham Pauley seems to be doing well since he got recalled from AAA. Dane Myers and Jacob Marcy. Okay. Look at him. in his first 2 games. How many games has he played? 3 games. And he has a hit in each of his first 3 games. Wow. Does anybody know about this guy? Is he a highly touted prospect? This is interesting. Does this guy even have lines today? Boston outfield versus Toronto outfield versus Milwaukee outfield for bets and mini stacks. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, Bailey Falter making his Kansas City Royals debut, huh? Okay. Look, if you know me, I'm an avid believer of these Red Sox against left-hand pitching. I love Rev Snyder. I love Romy Gonzalez. But here's the thing. Bailey Falter has not been terrible to right-hand hitters. Now, where he's the most susceptible is to the long ball, right? 14 homers given up to right-handed hitters. So that's where you're going to see it. He gives up a lot of power to the righties. Lefties aren't doing a ton, right? Mostly just singles. And something I've been doing here with Boston is I've been taking Roman Anthony left on left. He typically gets a suppressed book odd line because of the left on left matchup. And as you can see, versus left-hand pitching, he's handling it pretty well. He's gone over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 6 out of his last 10 against left-hand pitching. In the left-on-left matchup. His hits, runs, RBIs is minus 145 on the book today. So this is no secret. This is no secret today. And that's the thing. Like, I think that Stowers is a much better look than Roman Anthony. And you're getting minus 125 on the books here. And we can even shop the line a little bit if you guys have some different books. But DK is going to be your best bet today for 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs for Stowers. 145, 135, 150 on ESPN's kind of. If you have Profit X, I highly recommend playing it over there. Can really beat that juice. There was a couple others I was going to look at. Verlander, the ghost of Justin Verlander. Wait a minute. I'm not going. I wouldn't be mad at anybody for taking somebody against Verlander. I just don't trust this Pirates team, so it'll probably be a stay away from me. Now, this is one that I kind of wrote up before I started the stream that I wanted to talk about today. Travis Adams. Now, we have to keep in mind that he's a young guy and this is a small sample size, right? But through his first 12 innings pitched, he has not looked good. He has not looked good. Now, okay, he only got 3 outs here. Not sure what happened there. In his first game, 12 outs, 9 hits, 5 earned. Again, played the Pirates, not a good baseball team. 12 outs, 2 hits, 1 earned, 3 Ks. Similar story against the Nationals. 10 outs, 5 hits, 5 earned. So I do want to look at these Tigers left-handed hitters. Now the Tigers have been a little cold coming back from the All-Star break, but your normal cast of characters here: Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green. Those are the 2 guys I want to start with today. Let's kind of see, is Casey Mize on the bump? How's he done against Minnesota? Just kind of your standard Casey Mize start, right? Let's look. So Kerry Carpenter. Look, people that know me in my personal betting, this is one of my favorite guys to bet on. Kerry Carpenter, he's been dealing with some injuries this season. But he has hit safely in 7 of his last 10 games against right-hand pitching. Let's see if there's any correlation at home. Not really. against Minnesota, maybe against right-handed pitching. Um, this season, multi-hit games against Minnesota. Has never faced Adams, of course. Let's kind of see here. We don't get a hits run RBI line. I don't love it. Kind of wish we had a line there. But total bases plus 115 today. And if you have Profit X or any of these books where you're playing peer to peer, I highly recommend playing them because let's take a look at it, right? So most books you're getting close to even money, right? And even on FanDuel it's minus 105. And this is a line that will probably move more towards the minus side as the day goes on here. So DraftKings you may close at like even money or plus 105, something like that. Um, you never really know. You kind of want to watch and see how these lines are moving. And you can kind of get an indication. So you saw this line really moved. Now it's kind of coming back. DraftKings starting to move slowly. Profit X kind of staying on that same line. Um, but I think eventually it's going to kind of meet right around that even money line today. But if you get in on it early enough, you can get that plus 115 number at Profit X right now. Does anybody have a Kerry Carpenter or Riley Green fantasy score number on Prize Picks right now? If so, let me know what it is. Riley Green. And this is what you get with Riley Green. It's kind of all or nothing, right? You're either going to get zeros across the board or he's going to soar way over his lines. That's kind of how he's been the majority of this season. He's going way over 5, 4 total bases, 8, 2, or he's getting nothing. Um, as you can see, he has these random games where 3 strikeouts, 3, 2, 3, just can't put the ball in play, can't make contact. And that's sort of why I lean Kerry Carpenter most of the time. He is prone to the strikeout. But in these games where he's struck out multiple times, you're still seeing him produce. Whereas I feel like when Riley Green starts striking out, he kind of compounds that, and we see those multiple strikeout games. Let's kind of look at the pitch mix here for Travis Adams. And again, this is a smaller sample size, so it's tough to get realistic numbers or a realistic view. But we can see if we can draw some sort of conclusion. All right, so we want to set this up against right-hand pitching. So we're going to go fastball, slider, cutter, change. Kind of what we'll look at here. Man, that changeup is getting destroyed right now. Green, 5 on Prize Picks. Oh, wow. 5 fantasy score? What about Kerry Carpenter? And sometimes, guys, you have to shop these lines. If Riley Green's going to be 5 fantasy score and Kerry Carpenter is going to be at 7.5, it makes more sense to take Riley Green. Carpenter 5.5, so not too much of a difference there. Prize Picks did a good job pricing that line. They're kind of pricing that 0.5 hook in there, so to speak. So if he gets a hit, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, he's going to be looking at a 5 fantasy score. But if you also think Green is going to cash, right? Green's batting behind Kerry Carpenter in the order. So a little game theory there. Kerry Carpenter gets on base. Riley Green drives him in. Kerry Carpenter cashes anyway. Fastball, 4 for 10. 8 of them have been put in play. Just not a lot of strikeout stuff so far. I believe this guy is touted as a strikeout guy. So, he's going to regress to the mean at some point. So I would take some of these stats with a grain of salt, of course. But the cutter, is he throwing this a lot? 16% of the time he is. I wouldn't be shocked if we start to see that tick down a little bit. Just can't seem to get guys out with the cutter or change. Only giving up one homer, and when it was to the curveball, which he doesn't throw all that much. Let's see. Four-seam fastball, 218. That's not going to jump out at you. Handling the changeup well. Cutter, meh. Decent ISO to the cutter. Slider, 250. 267 there. Nothing really jumps off the page there for Kerry Carpenter. I'll be honest. Let's see if Riley Green sticks out a little bit more. All right, so we got Riley Green pulled up. 235, so 321 against the changeup, hitting it a little better. Splitter, curveball. Listen, if Riley Green catches a curveball today, probably deposited, right? Cutter, 375. Slider, ooh, okay. All right, I think we're actually going to go Riley Green. See, coming into it, Kerry Carpenter has the better swinging a better bat, swinging a hotter bat, but this is a prime moment for Riley Green to get it turned around today, right? You know, I think you could see Riley Green strike out to the fastball today. That would be my main worry going Riley Green. Probably only going to strike out to that fastball today. Change up 321, 286 ISO. Love that. We're hitting it hard. Line drive, fly ball. Good launch angle. Good exit velo. Curveball we're hitting good. We're not going to see a curveball a ton today, but I do like that we're seeing cutter hit well and the slider hit well. What pitch am I missing here? I think we mostly covered our bases. Throwing a sinker 4% of the time, I'm not really going to include that. So I would probably actually go Riley Green today. Especially we're getting a 5 fantasy score number in a game with an 8.5 total. Tigers heavily favored, right? Tigers heavily favored with a 4.5 run team total. I feel like you're getting that at a discount. We've seen him at 6.5, 7.5 this season. So far we have Kyle Stowers, fantasy score 1.5 bases, demon, whatever you want to run. And we have Riley Green. If Riley Green has a bases demon, you could start setting up a demon slip. Now, if you're going to run a full demon slip on Prize Picks, I highly recommend you cut your unit size in half just to mitigate some of that risk. When you play these demons, they're a less likelihood to hit than the baseline, right? So always have good bankroll management when taking these long shot parlays, right? One thing I've been doing pretty much all season is when you get a left-handed pitcher against the Baltimore Orioles, you just play their strikeouts, right? And I'm going to show you guys this. And listen, if you have kids in the audience, cover their eyes because this is bad. All right? Just take a look at this. Look at this team against left-hand pitching. I mean, an absolute train wreck of a season for the Baltimore Orioles. Just have not been able to hit left-hand pitching all season long. I mean, you have a guy like Tyler O'Neill, who you brought into this team to hit left-hand pitching, and you're batting a .175 with a 40% K rate. What's going on? What's going on? 221 for Jackson Holiday, 226 for Gunnar. Adley, probably your bright spot, right? 275. 186 for Dylan Carlson. Colton Cowser, 160. Jeremiah Jackson, too small of a sample size to really know, right? But not to hardly have anybody that can do anything against lefties when Tyler O'Neill's supposed to be that guy. What's going on? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys above league average K rate against left-hand pitching. Orioles need to trade for Ernie Clement. Ernie, the left-handed goat. Look, just go get Ernie, go get Edgar Quero, and just call it a day. Let those guys play against lefties, and you'll be all right. But not a lot of data against Luzardo. Tyler O'Neill 1 for 2 against him. Not a ton of data. I kind of want to see how Jesus Luzardo's done in his recent games. Against Baltimore, hasn't faced Baltimore since 21, so not a ton of data we'll be able to pull from there. Um, so at home, he's not pitched as well at home, has he? So we're sitting at a 6.5 line. Is this still 6.5 on Prize Picks, or is this 7? Is this 6.5 on Prize Picks, or are we at 7? I'm gonna say it's 7 because 6.5 is 170 on the books. It's gonna be at 7. But the books really feel confident that he's gonna get to 7 strikeouts tonight. You're looking at minus 170 on DraftKings. I don't know why that price is so much different than FanDuel. Um, but if you do want to take that 6.5 number, just bet it on BetMGM today. Minus 115. The best, really, really the best line you're going to get. Nothing else even competes with that, actually. Um, I mean, even minus 148 on ProfitX. Um, this play is pretty much going to be just about plus EV on Prize Picks today. The most likely outcome today is that he gets 7 strikeouts. You're just looking for a small bit of variance there to get that 8th K. So I'm going to keep that on the short list. I'm not sure I would throw that into my slip right away. We probably can find something a little bit stronger, but I always like to look at this, and let's kind of see. Let's see if they figured it out at all. Look, seems like they're starting to hit lefties a little bit better. At least 5 hits and then 7, 7, 7, 9, 8. So they are starting to hit a little bit more. So maybe they're going against the trend here. Because prior to that, look at this. Just look at this. 1 hit, 12 Ks. Beginning of the season, they were dreadful, right? Now you're kind of starting to see them hit a little bit. So maybe we stay away from that. Maybe we stay away from that today. As we can see that data trend starting to shift a little bit. This is just atrocious. They had a 10-game stretch there where they scored more than 1 run against a left-handed pitcher 2 times in like almost 15 games. It's kind of insane, right? Let's move on here. I know we kind of looked over this a little bit. I don't know. I don't love stacking against Bailey Falter. Not one of my favorite things to do. Now let's kind of look at the weather today. In Fenway, the wind is blowing out to left. It's going to be a warm one in Boston, so that ball's going to carry a little bit more. Anybody have any stats against Bayo? Look, I'm never gonna be against taking a Bobby Witt or a Vinny Pasquantino. 2 guys that I love betting on. I love betting on Michael Garcia as well. I don't think it's the best matchup for him today. And the guys that know me, here it comes. Just prepare. You can look at the teams and you can look and see who's pitching and you know what I'm about to say. But you just sometimes have to bet it. Jose Ramirez against left-hand pitching. This season hasn't been as good for Jose. He hasn't shown the power numbers he typically does against left-hand pitching, but still batting .350, just a 9% K rate to lefties, so he's putting the ball in play. He's 3 for 7 against Sean Manaea as well, so that's definitely a good indicator. Manaea's been pretty good though, just in his first outings here. He's burned me a couple times on his strikeouts. Let's kind of see their last 10. Nothing great. They just haven't been good against lefties either. Didn't end up moving Stephen Kwan at the deadline. Bad decision? What do we think? Well, we've seen Jose kind of pick it up against lefties a little bit. I'm sure he has a 1.5 bases line today. It's 127. I probably would just bet this on Profit X today. I probably wouldn't throw it in a prize pick slip. Um, yeah, I just always have to mention Jose Ramirez against left-hand pitching. I don't want to go too much farther into it than that, just because he's burned me so much this year. Oh my goodness! As you can see, the Atlanta Braves hat on, and I get to pull up my team's game, and lo and behold, the magician Eric Fetty on the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Stuff you love to see, right? With his 5.45 ERA this season. Braves are a dumpster fire, guys. Absolute dumpster fire. Now Acuna's hurt. Is Austin Riley hurt again too? Oh man, might just fire up Priest or props tonight. Just K ladder him up to 20 strikeouts. That's a joke. That's a joke. Don't do that. But I mean, look at this. Look at these statistics against Eric Fetty. Frelick 6 for 9. Contreras 9 for 16. Yelich 6 for 12. Oh my goodness. Braves game gonna play? Based on this, it says overcast. Are we getting like a different? What is the weather forecast showing, Michael? Showing something different? I mean, where I'm at, it's just overcast today. It's just overcast. Doesn't look like. Now I'm about an hour or so outside of Atlanta, so I based on what I can see outside, it just seems overcast today. But the game's orange. Yeah. So okay, maybe for now we're gonna skip it. Um, we're gonna skip it for now. 7.5 total. I find this interesting. 7.5 total in a game with Patrick Corbin, who has been pretty good this year. Now, are we really taking that much of a dip because Judge isn't in the lineup? Like you would think with Judge in the lineup this would be at 8.5, right? And without Judge, it's worth a whole point. That's insane. Just shows you his value, right? Someone I did right in my short list today was Cody Bellinger. I love taking Cody Bellinger left on left. Love taking Cody Bellinger left on left. 349 against left-hand pitching, minimal strikeouts. He's going to put the ball in play. Where the ball goes, who knows? But also against Patrick Corbin, he's 7 for 14. 7 for 14 against Patrick Corbin. Good sample size. Let's kind of dive into it deeper, right? Let's take a look at the batter versus pitcher. Now, honestly, if you could take him for a single today, does he have a single line on Prize Picks today? Or what's his fantasy score at? What is the best looking Bellinger prop that we have? Lots of singles. Alrighty. Sinker, slider, cutter. Mostly 3-pitch pitcher. Sinker 308 for Bellinger. Slider 412. Cutter 333. So you're kind of seeing why he's had that success against Corbin. So I'm taking Bellinger today. Let's see what he's at. So Bellinger's at 6.5 fantasy score today. I'm most definitely taking that. Yeah, so Bellinger's 6.5 fantasy score, super strong look today. You know, you got Stanton behind him, 273. I don't know that I love all the lefties they have in this lineup today. Now, this is not the official lineup. Could change. Lots of lefties though. I think for them to do well that today, it's going to be through Cody Bellinger. This was as far as I really got. Uh-oh. Where's Huncho? The Cubs get their ace, right? Michael Soroka. The big addition, the big Chicago Cubs acquisition at the trade deadline. Many thought it was going to be Sandy, and ultimately the Cubs go with Michael Soroka. 2 Achilles surgeries. Now, Soroka has shown some bright potential this season. He really has. Um, we've seen the strikeouts there. A solid outing against the Dodgers, right? 10 strikeouts. And this is kind of what Soroka does, and he's done in his career. He just has these kind of like I would compare him a lot to Casey Mize. I do think Casey Mize is a little bit better pitcher, but I think the way that they pitch is similar. They're just these guys. They're gonna give up 4 to 5 hits, 2 to 3 runs a game, and have 4 to 5 strikeouts. It's just kind of where they live. Where did he face? Okay, so he faced Cincinnati July 23rd, 17 outs, 6 strikeouts. This is like dead even money. Huncho is on some obscure tennis street. Yeah, I'm telling you. I guy's a tennis goat, though. He's cashed me out in tennis more than I can tell you. I probably will stay away from Soroka today. Um, Pitching in Wrigley. Wind blowing in. 7.5 total. Um, yeah, that one's just kind of tough for me. I'll probably stay away there. And how about the resurgence of Eric Lauer this season? He's been incredible, incredibly good this year. Just a 2.68 ERA this season, averaging 9 Ks per 9, 26% K rate, and he's really showing a reverse split, right? 28% K rate to righties with just a 188 batting average. I mean, who knows if this is sustainable long term? But he has been exactly what the Blue Jays needed so far this year. It's just one of those things with the Blue Jays. It seems like everything is going right at the right time. What to do here? There was a time where I was taking Tyler Freeman almost every day. He's kind of cooled off a little bit. Too high a fly ball rate and course for me. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I don't think you want to force this if you don't have to. Now, if you come in here and you see that you're getting a suppressed strikeout rate, like 4.5 strikeouts is interesting because we've seen him up in the 5.5, the 6.5s this season. So the 4.5 is somewhat interesting to me. I'm imagining this is going to be what's this on Prize Picks? Are we at 4 on Prize Picks? If we're at 4 on Prize Picks, I have some interest. But if we're at 4.5, probably going to stay away. Adrian Hauser with the Rays now. Insane. All right, left-hand pitching. Ow. We may have to take Kikuchi strikeouts today. Some pretty big K rates here. You get Morel in there against a lefty, big K rate. A lot of guys really struggling to lefties. 4.5 Ks on Prize Picks. Yeah, I'll probably stay away from that today. But I wouldn't fault anybody for taking that. It's the Colorado Rockies, right? I may take Kikuchi today. What do we think? What do we think about Kikuchi? Kind of struggled at home, though, right? And has kind of struggled with Tampa Bay. Just gone over in 3 of 10 starts. All right, maybe we stay away from that today. Brandon Fott on the mound. Boy, Brandon Fott has been a dumpster fire this year. Luis Ariz, 10 for 19. I'm always a sucker for Luis Ariz, man, I'll tell you. I take him all the time. So batting 526, 10 for 19. You're assuming that most of these are singles, right? That's just what Ariz does. He hits a lot of singles. Does have a couple doubles in there. Oh my goodness. Brandon Fott struck him out. That's tough to do. That is tough to do. He does not strike out a lot. As a matter of fact, I mean, look at this. He has just 6 strikeouts against right-hand pitching all season. 2% strikeout rate. That's insane. So I'm probably taking Luis Ariz today in some fashion. You wanted to take him for a single. I wouldn't fault you there. So we have a comment. Look into Machado. Look into Manny Machado today. All right, let's do it. So Manny Machado, 315. Okay. Look into Machado. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So we've got 3 for 12 lifetime against Brandon. 5Ks. Let's look at it a little bit deeper. Let's take a look at the pitch mix stuff. So a lot of hard contact though, right? Even when he's getting out, line out, hard contact, fly out, single, couple strikeouts in there, some walks. All right, let's look. So against righties, which Manny Machado is, let's kind of see. Let's see what we're looking at here. So we're going to feature a sweeper, sinker, four seam, and that's probably it. That's probably all we'll really look at today. So we kind of want to look at that sweeper, sinker, four seam. That is just not the best pitch mix in the world, right? That just seems weird to have success with. So against the sinker, we're batting 284, 24% hard hit rate. I like it. I like it. The four seam, we are absolutely tearing apart. We are tearing apart. We're going to feature that 24% of the time. Against the sweeper, we're batting 230. Yeah, I mean it seems all right. It seems all right. Nothing kind of like jumps off the table at you. 250 to the sweeper, 286. Now, we're going to hit the sinker, right? We're going to hit the sinker and the fastball. Sweeper, yeah. 40% hard hit rate on the fastball. Sinker, we're hitting a line drive. Catching cash, guys. What are you guys looking at today on Machado? I definitely like this. 384 to the sinker. Wow. Just spit on the sweeper, wait for your pitch, right? Let's see. Is he really at a 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs today? I mean, minus 165 for 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I tell you what, if he's at anywhere under like, so he's at 7.5 fantasy score. I might have to take this one. Is this what you guys are on today? Um, so yeah, I do see some people like replying on Twitter to the stream, you need to open up the secondary chat so that I can kind of see you guys in the chat because I can't really look at the notifications right now on the live stream. So if you have questions, just post them in the actual comment section on my live stream. All right, 7.5 fantasy score. I think we could take that today. Last game on the docket. Oh my goodness. Everybody knows I'm a known Sonny Gray hater. Do not like Sonny Gray. Honestly, if he's got a 4.5 hits allowed line today, I just want to smash that. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be sitting at 5.5, unfortunately. I mean, 4.5 is gonna be minus 205. That's insane. That is insane. The Dodgers effect, huh? Um, I mean, he's not been terrible against the Dodgers. I would honestly look into an under fantasy score here, but I'm not gonna pull the trigger on that. That would just be a secondary play. Like if you were running a 6-man kind of lottery slip today, I would throw that in. But I kind of want to go back through, guys. If you have, so we have about 5-10 minutes left here on the stream before we're gonna hop off. We have 180 people in here right now. If you guys have a play you want me to look over, I'll do that real quick. I'll take some requests. Kind of showcase the tools a little bit. Show you guys. I mean, I use this every single day for my bets. This is the only site that I use. Just to go back through kind of what we decided on today, or what I decided on today, is the first one that I'm looking at is going to be Kyle Stowers. Kyle Stowers today. Jason Alexander just has been atrocious to lefties this year. We want to take advantage of that. We know the K rate is pretty high for Stowers, so it's going to be a feast or famine kind of look. I think you could take bases, you can take fantasy score there. We ended up on Riley Green as well. The pitch mix stuff really looked good for Riley Green today. I will pop that back up on the screen for you guys that are just joining. Let's see, Riley Green, batter versus pitcher. Nathan Lukes. Okay, we'll look at Lukes here in just a second. Kind of get that rolling. Last thing here, right hand pitching. So we're gonna see a four-seam slider, changeup, cutter. Kind of what we're looking at. Mostly the four-seam fastball, and he's gonna mix these other pitches in. I think Green's pretty susceptible to that four-seam fastball today. But if he gets a changeup, a curveball, a cutter, and then what did he have? A sinker at like 4%, even a sinker. If he gets any of those pitches, he's going to be looking good. Going to be looking good today. So I ended up with Riley Green there as my second play. I don't hate Jesus Luzardo. I think it would be better to bet Luzardo in the prop market. Maybe you could run a K ladder with Luzardo today. He's going to be 7 on Prize Picks. Strikeouts. You could start you a K ladder. Maybe at 6 you start your K ladder, and you go up to maybe 9. You're not getting the best odds in the world. But you could probably do a K ladder today with Luzardo. We had Jose Ramirez from this game. As always, I love taking Jose Ramirez against lefties. He's batting .350 on the season, just a 9% K rate. Always a good look. Guardians as a whole are pretty abysmal against lefties. I mean, Austin Hedges. This guy's betting 135, and it's his better side. That's pretty insane. We skipped over Milwaukee and Atlanta. I believe there's some weather concerns there, so we kind of skipped over it for now. Cody Bellinger, I love today. Super strong look. 7 for 14 lifetime off of Patrick Corbin. We know Cody Bellinger is a good left on left. Good left on left, 349 this season, just an 8% K rate. Really, really strong look there. We kind of skipped over Cincinnati and Chicago. Um, the only thing I mentioned here was maybe Eric Lauer K's at 4.5. I think that's kind of shallow, kind of thin there. You never know what you're going to get in cores. Take that one with a grain of salt. Didn't really love anything in that game. And here, I think we're looking at Luis Ariz, and we also had a Manny Machado look in the chat from Catching Cash. If you guys don't know, um, Catching Cash posts a cheat sheet every single day. You get full access. I believe it's $10 a month, correct? If I'm correct on that. These guys use our tools every day to make their cheat sheets, and I highly recommend you check them out as well. Weather in Atlanta is possibly staying southeast. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just like based on what I'm seeing, it just kind of seems like an overcast day. When you're in the south, weather can flip a switch just like that. Um, so I think we're gonna go a rise, Manny Machado. Um, I think that's gonna do it for the stream today. We've been live 51 minutes here, 203 people in the chat. We're gonna try to start doing these a couple days a week. Just kind of labbing the slates. We're getting ready for college football season, for NFL season, right around the corner. We're going to be doing live shows for the NFL. Monday night football, Thursday night football. We're going to be doing those. We'll be live Sundays. You know, Sundays the big football day. We're going to try to do a college football stream on Saturday. We've got some big plans. Um, for the product. If anybody in chat is interested in becoming an affiliate with Doink Sports, feel free to shoot me a DM. You can DM me on the Doink Sports X account. You can DM me on my X account, which is this right here. And let's talk. Let's talk some numbers. If you're willing to put in a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, and make some posts for us, use some screenshots. Um, we have affiliates that do very very well. We're looking to add some more for the football season. If you're a big time capper for the NFL, or you like to make content, video content, anything, shoot me a DM and let's get to work. Um, Anybody else have any questions or anything before I hop out of here? If not, I'll give you guys a couple minutes. We can kind of look over the weatherman here. Let's see what the best weather for today is going to be. Best hitting weather. 86 there. Humidity 94, but this is an indoor game. Yeah, just based off this, just make sure we stay. Just okay. I take it back. Don't play Eric Lauer. 18-mile-an-hour winds, 94 degrees. There could be some runs scored in that game today. So I would not touch Eric Lauer. I would stay away from all pitchers in that game. That's pretty insane, actually. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I think the next stream is going to be on Wednesday. Around the same time, we're probably going to try to go live at 12 Eastern, 11 Central on Wednesday, and we'll kind of do the same thing. Now, Wednesday, we will have an earlier slate, so we'll kind of have to see. We may have to miss a couple games or skip a couple games. Yeah, we'll be back Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all Wednesday.